Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to today's virtual town hall for small businesses and nonprofits, hosted by Representative Karen Bass and Representative Lucille Roybal-Allard. My name is Xiomara Pena, and I'm the Vice President of Engagement with Small Business Majority, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's virtual town hall. We're going to be covering quite a bit with regards to all the resources here in the region that are available for small business owners. Starting off with a recap of some of those federal relief programs that are coming to an end at the end of December 31st, but also going through some of the resources that exist locally. And we have some great panelists with us that are going to be joining us a little bit later on for today's event to give us information about their organizations as well as the resources that their organizations offer you all as small businesses and nonprofits. But first, we have an exciting welcome message from our representatives, Representative Karen Bass, as well as Representative Lucille Roybal-Allard. Now, for those of you that are just tuning in with us, just wanted to give a quick overview. Congressmember Karen Bass represents California's 37th Congressional District, which encompasses many neighborhoods in the city of Los Angeles, including South LA, Crenshaw, Baldwin Hills, Century City, and more. Congressmember Bass serves on the House Committee of Foreign Affairs, where she is the chair of the Subcommittee on Africa, Global Health, Global Human Rights, and International Organizations. As a member of the House Judiciary Committee, Congressmember Bass is also working to craft sound legislation around criminal justice reforms, as well as protect intellectual property right infringements that can threaten the economic health of the 37th District. Congressmember Bass also serves as the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Prior to serving in Congress, Congressmember Bass made history when the California Assembly elected her to be its 67th Speaker, catapulting her to become the first African American woman in U.S. history to serve in this powerful state legislative role. Congressmember Bass served as a speaker during California's greatest economic crisis since the Great Depression, and before serving as an elected official, Congressmember Bass became interested in community activism as a child, watching the civil rights movement with her father. It was at that time that she made a lifetime commitment to effecting social change in her community and abroad. We also will be joined in the video, you'll see Congressmember Lucille Roybal-Allard. And in 1992, Congresswoman Lucille Roybal-Allard became the first Mexican-American woman elected to Congress. She has distinguished herself throughout her congressional career as a dedicated advocate for the dignity and well-being of all Americans. The Congresswoman is the first Latina to serve as one of the 12 cardinals or chairs of a House Appropriations Subcommittee, as well as the first Latina to serve on the House Appropriations Committee. She is also the first woman to chair the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, the first woman to chair the California Democratic Congressional Delegation, and the founder of the Women's Working Group on Immigration Reform. Congresswoman Roybal-Allard is an original co-author of the DREAM Act, which would allow certain U.S.-raised immigrant youth to earn lawful permanent residence and eventual American citizenship. The Congresswoman has been at the forefront of the fight to improve the quality and affordable of health services and has successfully secured funding for local needs, including infant and child care, prenatal health, dental health, HIV testing, substance abuse, diabetes treatment, and telehealth services. Joining us to welcome us for today's event, here's a video message from both congressional leaders.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Karen Bass.
And I'm Congresswoman Lucille Roybal-Allard.
We want to welcome you to today's webinar. This pandemic has really hurt small businesses, including nonprofit organizations throughout the Los Angeles region. Without healthy small businesses, we can't have a healthy economy. And as members of Congress, we want to ensure that you know about help and resources available to you during this difficult time.
Here in Congress, we've taken action to help small businesses in our communities. In March, we voted to pass the American Rescue Plan, which provides relief for small businesses in hard-hit industries, including $7.25 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program and expanded eligibility for nonprofits, including faith-based organizations for assistance.
The bill allows for the Treasury to provide funds to states, to the Minority Business Development Agency, and to other agencies that provide technical assistance to specified small businesses. The bill also provides specific emergency grants, loans, and investments focused on employee rehiring and retention.
What's more, just last month, we passed the Infrastructure and Jobs Act, which marked a transformative opportunity for small businesses. Among other pandemic-related issues, the bill addresses supply chain disruptions that have really hurt businesses across the country and around the world. It also offers contracting opportunities across a wide range of industries in our region. This massive investment in fixing roads and bridges and improving internet infrastructure will ultimately strengthen America's economic foundation, including its backbone of small business. Repairing and upgrading how we transport goods, services, and information should allow businesses to create and distribute products more efficiently and at lower cost.
We know that you've all heard about programs running out of funds early in the pandemic, and you may think that it's too late now to seek help, but there are still resources available that can assist you and your small business. We also know that not all of the programs to get you help have run smoothly. We hope that today's event will help inform you about what help is available to resolve problems and connect you to services that can help you gain access to resources. Shortly, you will hear directly from the Small Business Administration and experts with the Los Angeles Local Initiative Support Corporation, or LISC, L-I-S-C, and the LA Small Business Development Center Network. They will discuss tools and resources you can use during this challenging time.
You will also hear from leaders from the organization Small Business Majority, which has helped us with today's event. We appreciate their assistance, and we hope this will be useful to you.
And with that, let's begin. Thank you again for being with us today and for your service to our communities.
Wonderful. Very excited that we were able to get that video message in from two congressional leaders, really remarkable leaders here in working diligently to ensure that at the federal level that this community here in Southern California, along with many communities across the country, have the resources and tools that they need to continue to thrive. Well, I'm very excited. I see that folks have indicated there were some tech issues. I'm glad that we were able to resolve those. As mentioned, we are recording today's event, and so we will be able to share a link with you all after the event concludes for folks that maybe missed a portion of the earlier part of the webinar. And so moving on, again, great feedback from our congressional leaders sharing all those updates around the programs that they're launching. And so as we think about 2022, and before we jump into the panel, I think there are some pressing items we want to make sure we address. We have representative here from the U.S. Small Business Administration, Ben Raju, who will be joining us shortly. And so if you have questions for the SBA specifically, I encourage you to get those questions into the chat box soon, into the Q&A, and we'll try to respond to those. I just wanted to, again, as Small Business Majority, we're a national small business advocacy organization. Our job and our role is to we work every day to try to support a more level and equitable playing field for small business owners, whether it's around access to capital, whether it's around access to markets, and ensuring that you as small business owners have a space to have equitable competition, whether it's working on looking at our paid leave programs, retirement security programs, ensuring that folks have equal access to procurement programs. We've seen some at the federal level executive orders around increasing procurement opportunities, especially for minority business owners, women business owners, rural, veteran small business owners. We know over the last 18 months or so, these have been challenging months, as both representatives acknowledged. This has not been easy. You as business owners have had to navigate shutdowns, reopenings, closures, health concerns, vaccine protocols and changes, access to capital gaps, perhaps, especially delays in getting some of those federal relief programs, whether it was initially the Paycheck Protection Program, or if you're in the middle of a reconsideration process with an economic injury disaster loan program related to COVID. We recognize this has been a struggle. What we are here to say, looking ahead in 2022, we have an esteemed panel that's going to answer a lot of great questions, but I think one of the most important things that we want you all to acknowledge, 2022 will continue to be a year of recovery for small business owners. And we strongly encourage you to find the technical assistance resources, some of which are going to be joining us today, to have an advocate with you along that journey. And so strongly encourage you all to think about the technical assistance resources that are at your disposal. A lot of you already connected to your congressional leaders' offices. I know that they did a great job in spreading the word about today's events. And so we really, really encourage you to leave today's event, hopefully connected to a new resource, whether it's an SBDC center that you did not know about previously, the LISC partner organization that's here today, the SBA, and the plethora of other resources they have outside of COVID related resources. And so actually, Ben, if I could have you join on camera, I would love to, just give you some space. I know that we have, the SBA has been at the forefront of a lot of products that have been created to support small business owners. We've seen everything from the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. We've seen the Shuttered Venues Operator Grant Program, the Paycheck Protection Program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. With just a few days left in the year, what can the SBA, I would love to turn it over to you to give, a quick overview, 5 minutes if you may, on some things that small business owners that are tuning in today and nonprofit leaders that are tuning in today can keep in mind as we continue today's presentation.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Z. And I appreciate Small Business Majority and our congressional representatives for hosting such a phenomenal event to be able to get to these answers. I know a lot of folks have questions, and today's event is going to be designed around hopefully getting folks those answers that they are looking for. I see the Q&A is filling up, as well as our chat box, so please keep those coming. As we have known for a very long time, and as the pandemic has really identified for us even more vividly, entrepreneurs have long demonstrated resilience and fortitude and grit that it takes to generate ideas and solve problems facing the world. Our entrepreneurs are trailblazers, and they recognize a need and turn those dreams into startups. They deliver products and services to help drive our local and national economies. Now more than ever, we recognize that their contributions and look to their leadership as we continue, as you mentioned, Z, to be able to pivot and adapt and meet the new challenges as we look into 2022. Over the course of the pandemic, SBA has delivered lifelines to millions of Americans America's small businesses, as well as innovative startups that have joined to meet the needs that are facing our community. But there's a lot of work to be done. And I think, as has been pointed out, there's still many small business owners that are waiting for assistance or decisions or need help navigating the federal system to be able to access these resources. And that's what we want to make sure that we help folks with. If you're here in Los Angeles, our district office is here to be able to help support our small businesses and be able to help guide through these difficult times. But we're not alone in this. And as you'll learn today, we have amazing resources here. Obviously, our congressional representatives and their offices, but also our community partners and organizations like our small business development centers, our women's business centers, our SCORE offices, and many others like LISC, who are here to be able to help support small business owners, not just through the pandemic. These organizations have been here prior to the pandemic, have been able to help support our small business owners and organizations through the pandemic, but also will be here as we turn the corner and continue to not just survive through these difficult times, but thrive into the future. I'm gonna try and jump into these Q&As, so I don't want to speak too much or too long on the generalities. I really want to hit the specific questions that folks have, but I do want to mention that the SBA has continued to be committed to make sure that not only as a conduit to these different resources, but also a source for entrepreneurs, as well as folks that are looking to grow and expand their businesses into the future, whether it's access to capital, whether it's government contracting, whether it's addressing a need in the community, that we're here to be able to help. For folks that are looking to be able to get answers, I know I can see in the chat box that folks are waiting for decisions on their EIDL application, whether it's concerns about their PPP application. We're going to go through quite a few different options that folks have depending on what stage your business is. But please know that our office is here as a resource. We are local here in Los Angeles. Our website, we can be found on sba.gov under local resources. If you put in Los Angeles, you'll be able to it will pop up. But our direct phone number is 213-634-3855, and that'll be put in the chat box as well for folks to be able to access. As you can imagine, our phone lines are pretty busy. You can also email us at lado@sba.gov. Again, that's lado@sba.gov, and we'll be able to take a look and see how we can best navigate the questions and concerns that are out there. It is an amazing opportunity to be able to have this discussion here today. I look forward to having the panel discussion and being able to navigate some of these questions that are coming through. So thank you, Z.
Thank you, Ben. And, I think as district director for the U.S. Small Business Administration here in the LA area, I know that you've been working diligently to ensure that, at least locally, that small business owners have the tools and resources they need in order to have strong businesses. So I just want to thank you for all of your ongoing work. I know that much of 2020 was, building the plane and flying it at the same time. And there were a lot of, I think the SBA also has done a tremendous job at getting input back from small business owners on, we saw some changes, to some significant changes, even on the EIDL. We've seen the increases on the caps that were initially there. We've seen more flexibility in what you could use the loan funds for, including repaying other debt that you had accumulated as a result of the pandemic. We saw, flexibility with self-employed folks that were applying for PPP and other things. And so I know that you guys have been working hard, and yet we still have so many questions that folks have. And so, Ben, I'll keep you here. I want to invite a couple of other folks to join us. So I already presented you, Ben Raju, District Director here with U.S. Small Business Administration. Next to the panel to join the discussion, I'd welcome Patrick Nye, the Regional Director for the Los Angeles Small Business Development Center Network, which services a tri-county network from the lead center in Long Beach City College. They work with 8 service centers to provide strategic direction, partnership opportunities, and growth opportunities to help small business clients grow and thrive. Ben, we'll keep you on. And if we can also bring on Tanua. Tanua is the Executive Director for the Los Angeles Local Initiative Support Corporation, or LISC, the LISC LA office. She's a native Angelino, the Executive Director of LISC LA, seasoned community and economic development practitioner with more than 15 years with both nonprofit and private sector experiences. She's worked and her organization has also been a pivotal organization over the last few months, distributing grant programs and technical assistance to folks. And we're really, really interested in hearing what it is that you guys are doing. So if I could just go through the room, do a quick introduction, tell us who you are, a little bit about your organization, what it is that you're currently working on, and how you've supported small business owners. A loaded question there, but I always like to start with those. So Tanua, I'll turn it over to you first.
All right. Well, good morning, and thank you so much. We always appreciate the partnership with both Congresswomen as well as Small Business Majority, and so great to have our SBA and Sbdc colleagues on the line. We work hand in hand. One of the things and messages that we hope that small businesses get out of today's session is that there is no wrong door. We are all connected to one another. You reach out to any of our organizations. Our goal is to figure out how we can help you, or how someone within the network of those organizations that have been supporting small businesses even before it was in vogue, to make sure that that happens. So Zia Mora, thanks for letting everybody know that I'm Tanua Thrash-Intook, Executive Director for LISC Los Angeles. We're national in scope, but I oversee our Los Angeles office. LA County is certainly a focus, but we also do work in Orange County, as well as the Inland Empire and San Bernardino and Riverside counties, as well as portions of Ventura. As a community development financial institution, that financial is sort of critical to what we're hoping to accomplish, and that is to get financial resources out to communities that need it most. Not only do we support small businesses, but we're also in the business of trying to make sure we increase the number of affordable housing units in our community as well. So we're financing those as well. During the pandemic, a lot of people learned about our organization who might not have known us before. We helped LA County as well as LA City distribute more than $100 million in grants at a time when we were so uncertain in 2020, and have continued to do so in 2021. We certainly would encourage those businesses out there to stay connected with us via certainly our LISC LA website. You can sign up for a newsletter, but we also monitor and are putting resources out constantly at lacovidfund.org, lacovidfund.org. You can sign up there for more information. So Zia Mora, you asked, what else do we do? We certainly finance small businesses. And as we get into the conversation, I'm happy to talk about what some of those financing initiatives are. But in addition to that, we also have a number of cohort-based programming that we do, where we really help businesses grow. Our goal here through like our Ascend LA program, for example, is to create multi-million-dollar diverse-owned businesses. And we do that by helping those businesses gain access to contracts. But we also know, given COVID and what we know about being even online right now, that it's really important that businesses are able to pivot to a digital economy, to be able to transact via e-commerce. And so we've continued to expand our platform, which we call Keep Our Shops on the Block. And we have a digital boot camp and digital accelerator program that we're involved in, and happy to talk about that. And then finally, I'll also say that at List Los Angeles, we took very serious the call to ensure that there was a commitment to Black-owned businesses. And as a result of that, we lifted up what we called the initiative, the Black Economic Development Initiative. And through that program, we launched the first Black Business Accelerator in LA County. This is our Black Business Excellence Technical Assistance Program, where we've brought together 30 personal care businesses, hardest hit by COVID, personal care businesses owned by Black entrepreneurs. We're going to graduate them on Monday, but it's been exciting to see their journey in increasing their network with one another. So not just in their salons on their own, but also connecting them to opportunities to grow their business going forward. So I'll be putting some things in the chat, but I can't wait to continue the conversation with my other colleagues here with Pat and Ben. So I'll stop there and we'll come back with more questions.
Thanks, Tanua. Oh, I'm looking for that celebration emoji sticker thing that happens, but I guess it doesn't happen on this one. But yes, that's exciting. And Monday, 30 personal care businesses, Black businesses through this accelerator program. Can't wait to see photos and to hear the stories, because I know that will definitely a lot of impact, I'm sure. Pat, you lead the small business development centers. The small business development centers here in the LA region. I remember in the middle of 2020, you guys were, your phone lines were probably ringing off of the hook, but just would love to know for folks that are unfamiliar with the SBDCs, or that, if there's something new that y'all are doing, I think it would be helpful for folks in the room to get a sense of what it is that you do.
Great. Thank you, Ziamora, and thank you to both the congressional members for making this possible, and to all of my colleagues on the call. We often talk about the ecosystem of small business support, and you're seeing it here. These are the prime members of that. So as noted, I'm responsible for the Los Angeles Regional Small Business Development Center Network, the LA SBDC. That's a mouthful. So yeah, we're the SBDC. SBDCs, like my colleagues here, represent a national program. So this is a federally funded program provided by congressional appropriation that's managed through the work of the SBA. So we are a federal resource. We're essentially your tax dollars in action. And we cover all states and US territories. My region happens to be here in LA, where we cover LA, Ventura, and Santa Barbara counties. We have counterparts above and below us in the state, so we cover the whole state. And essentially, we're in the business of two different things. One is providing workshops and trainings to small business. So we cover a wide variety of topics where we help to educate small businesses on everything from how to get started in your business to things that are very specific, how to market your business, how to build a online social media presence, how to get involved with government procurement or international trade, and every other topic you might imagine. And those are all provided at no cost, and we have those going daily, several different sessions, and I'll share a resource here in a moment where you can sign up for all that sort of stuff. But the other thing we do, sort of the heart of our work, is in one-on-one technical assistance. And so my network has roughly 200 staff and professional business advisors, and we have 7 centers throughout the region. But you can go and you can sign up for an appointment, and you can get assigned a small business professional. And typically these are small business owners themselves, so they have a lot of great experience and knowledge to help work through whatever issue your business may be facing. And again, that can be helping you figure out the pathway to get started. We can help you package your financials and shop you out for a loan if that's something your business needs. Or we can help you develop a marketing plan, pivot your business, all the things you might imagine, again, a small business encountering. And we work with everybody from sole proprietors up to somebody with about 500 employees. So it's a pretty wide spectrum in virtually every industry. The other thing I'll mention is everything we do with our clients is kept confidential. And again, it's all at no cost. we are funded by both the federal government as well as the state of California. And so throughout the pandemic, we've helped a ton of businesses be able to navigate things like the federal resources, how to apply for EIDL or the PPP loan, or now, how to navigate forgiveness or how to get reconsidered. We're that sort of live person on the phone who can walk you through the specific steps to fill out your paperwork, get everything in line, and then be able to move it forward. We helped with the California COVID relief grant. Locally, we've done a lot with LA County and in fact, LISC in helping to provide technical assistance for some of the grant programs that they supported locally. So we consider ourselves to be that sort of hands-on information source, the hub for all sorts of resources that are out there. I'll sort of preview. I do know that our county here in LA is looking for some additional opportunities, perhaps to give some grants out in the future. I also know that the state has a new grant coming out probably early next year, called the California Dream Fund, that's going to try to help incentivize new businesses starting up and offer some grant funding there. And we'll be a part of all that. So we can help businesses sort of navigate all of that and assist through that. I also mentioned on the workshop side, just to give you a little preview. So today at 1 o'clock, we have a session on Business Starts 101, how to get started in your business. At 2 o'clock, we have one on social media for holiday sales. So how to improve your sales this holiday season. We have one coming up on Thursday around exporting. We have a standing session on 1 p.m. on Thursday that's all about funding, tax credit, what emergency resources are out there, how to navigate forgiveness and reconsideration and all those things. Every Wednesday, we have one on just small business talk. We have professional advisors just available for any question you might have. And those are always great sessions. So I'm going to put in the chat here the way to reach us. And yeah, we're here to help. We're, again, your tax dollars in action. So please take advantage of the SBDC.
Thank you, Pat. And Ben, if you want to cover anything that you maybe haven't already covered with the SBA, I know that outside of COVID related relief programs, the U.S. Small Business Administration is really tasked with being, again, the department that works for small businesses from coast to coast and in other U.S. territories as well, and DC and others. I know you guys have been, busy with revamping some of the programs, perhaps through, and then looking at some of the traditional products like the microloan products and 504. Can you tell us a little bit about those additional services?
Absolutely. The SBA is the source for our entrepreneurs within the country, as well as our territories, to be able to support them, whether they want to start, grow, expand, as Pat mentioned, going global. There are a variety of different ways that our business owners support and are the backbone of our nation's economy. Whether it's through the innovative side, we have a Small Business Innovation Research Grant Program, or SBIR, STTR program for folks that are, I'm seeing in the chat that folks have ideas about how to solve pandemic-related issues. There are federal agencies and governments out there, organizations out there that are looking for those ideas. I encourage you to take a look at SBIR, STTR, to be able to be a resource. If there is a need that your product can be able to fulfill, there are ways to be able to get assistance in doing that and being able to work through that product. The SBA is on the forefront of that. We're there to be able to help support at that stage. If you're looking for venture capital, the SBA has programs that are able to help from the VC side and being able to help support that from that angle. If you're looking to go global, SBA has an international trade program on the financing side, but also on the support side to be able to help small business owners that are looking to expand their reach beyond the US borders. On the technical assistance side, Pat did a great job explaining all the different things that the small business development centers have to be able to help support business owners, whether you're looking at, just, within the next couple of hours, they've got one on, social media, they've got workshops on being able to help your businesses, but they also have access to capital workshops. They also have workshops to be able to help business owners get an idea of what options are out there. And they're a great resource for that, to be able to do that. We also have our women's business centers for folks that are looking for women that are in business to be able to help support their initiatives, and being able to make sure that there are resources that are available to be able to help understand the needs from our women's business centers, to be able to help support them. Our microloan programs, access to capital, which is really, SBA's pretty well known for the access to capital programs that we support. And whether it's our 7A program or our 504 program or our micro lending program, the Los Angeles district here has such a variety of resources to be able to help business owners access that capital. But here's the thing, for a business owner that's working in their business, this is a lot of information, right? Maybe I want to go global. Maybe I got an innovative idea. I've got this. Where do I start? How do I get things going? And partners like LISC, partners like the SBDCs, partners like the Women's Business Centers are really a great first step for business owners to be able to really understand and identify whether it's having a sounding board from an executive that a coach, like a small SBDC counselor, or if it's somebody that's been in the business that you've been in that can help provide some opportunities or some advice on how to be able to navigate some of the challenges and some of the different things that you're seeing. These resource partners are valuable resources to be able to help leverage and help our small business owners not just think about, okay, how do I get through today, but also look at that long-term planning and that long-term strategy. Whether it's a business plan or whatever you want to call it, whether it's a projection, whether it's, what kind of financing am I going to need, or if I want to look at, succession planning. A lot of our business owners through the pandemic have looked at, opportunities. Do I want to sell? Do I want to pivot my business? Do I want to go into a different area? There's a lot of different things to really think about and be able to help with. Now, these resources are for-profit organizations, for-profit businesses that are looking to do these things. And the SBDC resources, and I see it's in the chat box there, to be able to access these different resources. You can go on there under sba.gov and go under local resources, put in your zip code, and it's going to give you that whole list of folks that are out there to be able to do it. If you're ready to get financing, stop by and talk to Pat. Make sure that you got your all of your ducks in a row. Make sure everything's there so you can have the best opportunity to be able to access that capital that's the traditional capital that's out there. If you have questions about hiring employees, stop by and take a look and see what resources that are there and available. These are all different things from the inception of your business through the succession of your business and beyond. SBA can help support on all different levels through a variety of different resources.
And I see a lot of great questions here in the Q&A chat box. We're going to try to get to as many of those as possible. But I did just want to pose another question to the group here. I got a sense of, all the different types of resources that your organizations are offering small business owners. Great to know that there are still, potentially more grant programs making their way locally. I know, the American Rescue Plan, some of those dollars have been making their way through various states in different formats. California, our governor is about to announce another surplus, I think, in the state of California in terms of our own state budget. And I wonder if there will be additional resources that come out of that to small business owners. And so outside of the Dream Fund, I heard there are some potential LA specific grant programs. Tanua, I know you all also did work with the county and the city. Are you getting a sense? Are there a new, tell us, are you planning to launch another accelerator cohort? Are there additional grant programs that you also foresee just right around the corner, perhaps?
Yeah, so there are some things that I can't talk about just yet because certainly the legislature will provide us with some direction on how a number of those funds will be distributed. But the good news is that the folks who are on this call are ahead of the game you get connected with any of our organizations right now, and you'll be the first to know. We are anticipating that there will be more grant programs in 2022. And that's just based on the fact that we know, as you said, the federal ARPA funds are making their way to states, to counties, to cities as we speak. So that's happening right now. And we're anticipating that there are going to be more grant programs. The other thing is that a lot of the grant programs that you've seen so far have been relief grants. So immediate need for assistance, because who knew we were going to have to close our doors right away for as long as we did. Now there are going to be grant programs that we're looking, and talking with some of the jurisdictions about, that are going to be a little more strategic and thinking about, how do we help you long term? How do we help you position yourself to better weather Omicron and whatever else comes next after that? So that may not be so much of a weighted selection process, more what you've seen as lottery, but maybe based on, do you have the potential to grow? Are you ready to grow? Have you taken the steps to ensure that your business is in position to grow? Do you know where you want to go? And really designing programs and more cohort programs around that for long-term strategy and stability. And then I do have another announcement. Again, I can't make on this call at this moment right now in December, but we are anticipating at the top of 2022 making a major announcement. That announcement is rooted in the kind of feedback that we receive from small businesses across the region. And one thing that we've heard loud and clear is that grants and equity-like investments like that really help a business make a difference. Certainly, loans are going to be important. Lines of credit are important, but having access to some liquid patient capital like grants is also very, very helpful. And what we already knew, but has been more recently quantified and elevated, is that diverse owners are much more likely to have less of that liquid equity-like capital to really help their business grow. And so we're listening to that, and we are doing our best to connect with funders and raise money around the things that businesses, small businesses, diverse small businesses in LA County have said they need. And we look forward to being able to announce that in 2022. But right now, the Verizon Small Business Program is open, where you can go online right now and be able to be digital ready. So we've been announcing that curriculum. I'll put that in the chat. In addition to that, our Ascend LA program is going to be operating in 2022. We're excited to say that we've, during the pandemic and 2021, we've been able to help the small businesses in our program identify and bring home $20 million in government contracting opportunities. It's a fantastic feat for a number of our small businesses, and the program will continue in 2022. So I'll put that in the chat as well.
And I also heard the Dream Fund. Pat, anything else that you wanted to perhaps, you gave us a list of, I think, some great events that are right around the corner and then happen on a reoccurring basis. So it's good to know that for folks that are tuning in.
Yeah, so like Tanua noted, I think there's a lot on the horizon. And I think those are all great signs. We don't have very specific information to share at this point, but I do think staying tuned with each of us will put you on the forefront of knowing what opportunities are available and how to jump on that when they are. In the meantime, we are, like everyone here, really focused on helping businesses in all the other ways we can, helping them maximize their sales. If a business did have to take on a lot of debt and sort of pull all these different pots together just to be able to weather the shutdowns and everything, I also think this is a good time to sort of look at all of your numbers and figure out how to consolidate some of that stuff. So again, we have business advisors who can help with all of that, maybe package things up so that you can, get a different loan or other things like that. I'm sure there's going to be this sort of massive hangover coming out of, everything that people had to do just to weather this. So we can help with all of that.
And actually, while we're on this thread, Pat, yes, let's say someone applied for a PPP loan and they didn't get it 100% forgiven, and they still have to repay, I don't know, $20,000, and they have to repay their EIDL loan that is a 3.75% interest repayable over 30 years. And let's say they took out, unfortunately, they were delayed on their PPP and they took out another loan, perhaps online. You're talking about 3 different repayment now vehicles that they're working off of, possibly even their credit card that might have been also
Sure.
leveraged for capital.
Right.
You're saying they can visit the Small Business Development Center to be able to work with a counselor to help figure out some potential solutions there for them?
Absolutely. Yeah, we are certainly in the business of helping people access capital. And we're very good at helping people work through their numbers. Especially lots of businesses may not have the experience of developing a P&L or a balance sheet or that sort of stuff. We can help them put all that together. We can also develop a very quick and easy business plan, and that's the kind of thing that we could take out to a lender and even help sort of match make with the right type of lender for their specific industry or business size, somebody who might be interested in that particular type of business. Yeah, we do this all of the time. In fact, we have a whole team called the Access to Capital team, and they are experts in this. They'll have previous banking experience. Of course, each case is going to be highly specific and a little different, but that's why we offer one-on-one advising, so that we can dig in and figure out the client's specific issues and really offer them the best options going forward.
And so, Ben, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things to look at right now, and you pointed it out, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. For folks that have been able to take advantage of that, it's been a phenomenal resource. Like you said, it's 3.75% interest rate over 30 years. It's one of the most affordable loans out there to be able to help reestablish or pay for additional costs, additional expenses that may have resulted or a result of reduced revenue that you may have had as a result of the pandemic. But here's the thing, the deadline to apply for that is the 31st of December. So folks that have not been able to apply for that, we want to make sure that they hear it loud and clear today to go ahead, to make sure that you take that step and that to be able to move forward in applying for that assistance, because after the 31st, it will not be available for folks to be able to access. Now, here's the thing. If, for example, you had additional expenses and you're like, I'm able to make it through right now. I don't necessarily, I've been able to sustain this long. I don't want to take on this additional debt. You don't have to take it once you're approved for it, right? But you can't apply for it after the deadline expires, right? Options are a good thing. So for folks that have not had that opportunity to be able to take advantage of it yet, definitely encourage folks to be able to take advantage of it, apply, and be able to speak with one of the representatives from our resource partners to be able to find out how to leverage and fully leverage and utilize that, as well as our other programs. I'm also seeing in the chat for folks that have had trouble with accessing those programs and being able to get responses on their EIDL loans. It looks like somebody has a question in here about the fact that they've been waiting for almost a year on getting a response back. I want to say this very loud and clear. If you've been waiting longer than a few weeks, 6 weeks, let's say, for a response from the SBA, reach out to my office directly. Send an email to lado@sba.gov, and let's see what we can do to be able to help. Whether it's something's missing, whether it's there needs to be additional clarification, if there's other issues that are out there. If we're able to help support, we want to make sure that we're able to be that advocate and be able to get there. The way that this should work, if you had a PPP loan, you should be able to submit the forgiveness, whether it's through the platform, whether it's through your lender, to be able to make sure that you know what your forgiveness amount is and what you've been forgiven for. If there is a balance that's left over, that needs to be repaid, make sure that we're addressing those and getting that clarification, because business owners need to know what that future looks like, right? And you need to know, okay, I went through these programs. I went through and applied for these assistance and received them, be able to help my business. But what am I going to be doing going forward with this debt or with this capital? If it's forgiven and it's 100%, which I think you'll see a lot of the folks are, that's amazing. Let's look at some other opportunities or some other possibilities to be able to access resources. If it's not, let's work with a resource partner to be able to make sure that you know what to do with that going forward. If it's stuck, if there's a challenge, work with our office to be able to make sure that we're able to help guide you along that path. Specifically for the EIDL, for the PPP, I want folks to work directly with their lenders to be able to make sure that they're able to get those forgiveness applications and things in. And if you are if your PPP loan was provided by a lender that's taking advantage of the platform that SBA has put together to be able to help ease this process, submit that application for forgiveness as quickly as possible to be able to do that. If you need to get your paperwork together, you need to get ready for that. You need to know how to patch your guy. Reach out to our SBDCs, reach out to our resource partners to be able to make sure that you have everything in line to be able to maximize all of these different resources.
Well, I'm seeing we have a few minutes left here, and I do see some questions. I do have one more surprise question for everyone. I think try to give everyone a heads up, but I want to address a couple of questions here. One, I see folks asking about nonprofits, and so are many of these resources also available for nonprofit organizations? I'll start with Pat.
Yeah, we can work with some nonprofits on a limited basis. We really are focused on small business, but as many nonprofits do operate very similar to small businesses, that has been expanded. So I would say, please go ahead and get in touch with us, and our counselors can figure out if we have anything to offer your NGO.
Tanua, do you guys work with nonprofits as well?
Absolutely. Actually, part of our larger portfolio is nonprofit organizations. We provide both grants as well as loan products and credit products. So if you are in need of a line of credit as a nonprofit, excuse me, we have resources. In addition to that, in the chat, we have an active grant right now with housingiskey.com. It's the state rent relief program. If you're a nonprofit that wants to help with that, we have resources there too.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tanua. And Ben, I assume that EIDL is also available for nonprofits. Can you also clarify?
Absolutely. Yeah, the economic injury disaster loan is available for for-profit businesses as well as nonprofit organizations. There are different resources that are out there and available. Our traditional 7A 504 assistance programs are designed for for-profit entities, but an advantage on the EIDL side, the economic injury disaster loan, is that it can be accessed by for-profit businesses as well as nonprofit organizations.
I also see a question here about procurement. I know we spent a lot of today talking about capital because you know what? It's coming to the end of the year and we only got a few more weeks here left in 2021 to apply for some of these programs. But there is some news around some of the investments made around the Build Back Better package and the infrastructure package. That looks to support procurement. The president also has made a couple of announced executive orders around federal procurement contracts. And I know that Tanua, you also mentioned the cohort-based program Ascend LA. And so wondering maybe from a national level, Ben, do you have a sense of some of those procurement related resources? And then I'll go to Tanua and then Pat to close us out, and then we'll spend quite a minute just to close out today's event.
Earned revenue and diversified revenue streams are going to be key to small business sustainability going forward. The grant programs, the recovery programs, those are great to be able to help overcome the challenges that we're looking at. But there needs to be a way to be able to sustain small businesses for the long run, and that is through earned revenue. Government contracting is a phenomenal way to be able to diversify your small business, be able to get a different revenue stream that you may not have had before, and be able to do it with one of the largest purchasers in the world, right? The US federal government from the federal side is the largest purchaser of stuff. This computer that I'm using, the pencils and pens that I use, to the technology, to the everyday products and services, the contracts are for business owners to be able to take advantage of and to be able to leverage. If you're a minority-owned business, if you're a woman-owned business, if you're located in a historically underutilized business district, you have advantages that you can leverage to be able to compete. Tanua mentioned level the playing field earlier, as well as you did, Z. It is an opportunity for folks to be able to operate on a level playing field, to be able to compete for these dollars that are out there. And Z, as you mentioned, there's a lot of dollars that are going that direction. And our small businesses here in Los Angeles and the surrounding areas are positioned to be able to help access that, but you have to be prepared. You have to be able to work with resources to be able to get you to that point, whether you're starting out with city and local contracts and then expanding up into county and federal contracts from there, or if you're getting certified, or if you're getting these other things. You have to have that stuff in place in order to do that. That is one opportunity that if nothing else from today, if your business is able to provide services to a government entity, whether it's city, local, or state, please look into the opportunities and the resources that are out there to be able to help you be competitive in that field, because that is going to be one of the key resources to be able to help sustain our businesses going forward. Tanua?
Yeah, I think you said it. And, the grants got us through, but in order to be in business and stay in business, we have to identify sustainable sources of revenue, expand the market opportunities from business to consumer, to business to business, to business to government. Our Ascend LA program is all about getting you ready. It's all about making sure that you have the right staffing, the right infrastructure, and then really making sure that you can compete well for those government contracts. And we have a proven model. We know we've gotten the businesses who've been in our program $20 million just over the last 18 plus months that we've initiated the program.
Yeah, and real quickly, as my colleagues noted, procurement is a huge opportunity for small business, and everybody from the federal side down to county and even local municipalities set benchmark targets to include small business in their procurement. And frankly, they have a tough time reaching those levels. So they do need more qualified small businesses. Like my colleagues here, we have lots of resources to offer, helping you get certified, helping you navigate the contracting process. In fact, we have a new webinar that we'll certainly be hosting in January called How to Speak Government Contracting, just so you can sort of learn how to navigate all this stuff and learn what it takes to be successful there. We have a number of advisors with that sort of background. So again, please take advantage of these resources, and this might be a really great way to expand your business.
And see, before we leave here, our veteran-owned small businesses have some tremendous resources for folks to be able to access through our programming. The SBA has a veteran business outreach center that's specifically designed to be able to help support our veteran community. So for our veterans that are out there, please reach out. We are definitely, again, through our resource partner link that's there, but all of our resource partners, I know Pat and his team work great with our veteran community to be able to help make sure that they have access to the different programming, the different resources that are out there and available, as well as get an understanding of the different competitive advantages that they have in the world of government contracting. So for all of our folks, women-owned, minority-owned, veteran-owned, across the board, reach out. I think the message here is to reach out. There are a number of different, you're doing business in a phenomenal area. The Los Angeles area has some great resources to be able to help sustain our business owners, to help them grow, help them expand. This is a great representation of the advocacy and the resources that are out there to be able to help our small business ecosystem here in Southern California not only survive, but thrive going into the future.
And that's what we want to leave with. I know we're already 3 minutes over, and I want to be very respectful of your time. We've already, asked for a lot of your time. I know folks feel the Zoom fatigue, and we're asking of a lot in terms of, it's a lot of information too that we're covering during a very short period of time. Next steps. What we'll do is I see a lot of great helpful links here that have been added in the chat box. We'll make sure we add those to a document and share those around so that you have access to them. You'll also be able to replay the webinar if you need to, or you needed to step out for a portion of it. Maybe just skip the first 2 minutes when I didn't have some of the tech issues resolved just yet. But again, we're really thankful for all of you. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Tanua, for your time, sharing all the resources that you guys have to offer for our small business community. I want to express my appreciation. There's a lot of people working behind the scenes, from both congressional member Karen Bass's staff, as well as congressional member Lucille Roybal-Allard's team. They're working behind the scenes and helping to respond to some of these questions. They've been helping us monitor some of the chat boxes. And I know both of your congressional members have been working hard to support the small business community, not just in the last few months, but in both of their long careers, have both really looked at supporting everything from dreamers all the way to the Black community in the greater LA region. And so for their leadership and for convening us and for convening this space, I really, really, again, Jacqueline and team and Anna and team, thank you for your members' time and convening us today. I know we didn't get a chance to respond to every question that we received. We'll try to respond to those the best as possible, following up individually with some folks and trying to respond and getting those resources cultivated in the follow-up email that you'll be receiving shortly. And I just ask one last thing, and this is, you will be receiving a follow-up survey. It's always helpful to get a sense of how we can be improving our events, our content, our speakers. And so if there are if you have 2 to 3 minutes, it shouldn't take more than 2 to 3 minutes to complete that survey. Strongly ask that you please do so. That always gives us good information. With that, I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. I want to thank our speakers again, our panel guests, for tuning in today. You guys were fantastic and covered quite a bit. And I hope that everyone has a great rest of the week.